All right, guys, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the resources that are available to you through Layton High School's library website. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but this should be a sufficient list to help you get through the things that we need to get through. So the best way to get there is to go to the library page, which over here down the left-hand sidebar, you can click right on the library and that'll pull that up. Library page should open up something like this. Okay, let's go ahead and center that up a little bit, and you can see some information about our librarians, a couple of our students, and whatnot. There are many ways that you can search using this. There are a lot of them. You can go ahead and click on this to get the library catalog. This will pull up a window wherein you can search and see if there's a book. Click catalog. You can search by keyword, title, the author, subject, or any other number of things. So that's an option. If you're into doing book research, that's definitely an option that you could use. Let's go ahead and look at another option that you have. This just links you up to Google, which you have that access in almost any of your computer or your internet search machine. So I'm not going to detail that too much. Know, however, that there is a site called Google Scholar that's put out by Google that only searches peer-reviewed journal type of articles or academic type of articles that are going to be effective for research. Definitely, you can find some things on Google that are going to be good for research, but the deeper you go and the further you go into your schooling, the more it's going to be expected. The more it's going to be expected of you, that you are finding resources that are peer-reviewed and scholarly in their nature. So there's that. You can also click here. This is Follett ebooks, I believe. And from there, this pulls up this page, which also is the same one that comes from some of the other symbols. So if you were to click here, that would pull up that page as well, the Pioneer database. So let's go ahead and go back to that window, and we'll talk a little bit about the different resources that are there. Here you can see that there are some different ebooks. Over here you can see the Mac and VIA, the Gale Virtual Reference Library, Salem History, and Follett ebooks. Now, there's a great deal of information that you can find there, and you can go there. If we look down here, we can also see the library catalogs of LHS, as well as the Davis County Library catalog. Beyond that, we can also find Google Scholar here, WebPath Express, and then EasyBib Research, which will be very helpful in guiding and honing some of your searches. EasyBib's a great site, especially as it goes to citation, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Let's go ahead really quickly and look into the Virtual Reference Library here. This is Gale Virtual Reference Library. Now, all of these resources are things you can access from home and school. However, at home you will need a specific password that can be given to you from the librarian, or it can be given to you by your English teacher if you want to go ahead and contact them. Here, the Gale eBooks archives has a ton of different books, and we can just kind of zoom through some of the basic ones. But you've got American Civil War reference, American Decades primary sources, American social reform movements, animal and plant anatomy, career information center, crime and punishment, essential primary, dictionary of American history. I mean, if you look down here, there's a ton of books that are very in depth on your subjects, especially if you're going to delve into one subject or another. This would be a great place to look. There's government, politics, and protests. There are multiple sources. So this is the Gale eBooks library, and it's a wealth of information, like we've referred to. There is a ton in here for you to research and to look at. The one drawback about these might be the fact that you're looking at such large-scale works that you may have some trouble searching through those. So we'll go ahead and close that down, though, and let's look at some other resources you have available to you. You have the Safari Montage Video on Demand access here, and I believe that, let's look and see if that actually requires a password. Yeah, I believe that still actually requires a password. So that won't be any help to you, but your teacher might be able to access that for you. Let's talk now about Pioneer. Pioneer is the primary thing that I wanted to talk to you about today. It's the primary source that I want you turning to, and I want you looking to use in your research as we go throughout this project. So Pioneer is a resource that's open to K to 12 schools in Utah, and it has a wealth of resources. Within Pioneer, there are many different resources, and we'll talk about a couple of those that are, key or important. If we look down here, we can go ahead and see that there are these are general reference collections here. So these are collections of databases of information. You've got the World Book Encyclopedia here. This is a great place. I mean, similar to what you're going to get on Wikipedia, but a little bit more trustworthy because you don't have to worry about, just anybody posting on there. There are some other things that you can do. The Gell Learning K-12 collection, which is definitely an option. You can look at this, and it definitely has a whole lot of stuff, and you can look at science. You can look at any other number of these things that interest you. So this is a good one. If you're looking at one particularly that's going to be good for your problems, this Opposing Viewpoints in Context will often be a good one. That would be a website that I would recommend maybe taking a look at. That pulls up here and gives us, a good look at different types of, and interesting imagery there, a bunch of types of different subjects or topic matters that are controversial, and this would be great for your problem solution where you're trying to figure out a solution to a social problem. So this would be one place I'd recommend looking. Let's go ahead and get out of the Gell Cengage Learning Center, go back to the Pioneer Library. From there, other places that I would recommend looking, EBSCO. Now, EBSCO has a whole bunch of information. EBSCO is a collection of databases, and they can all be super helpful. So if you go all databases here at EBSCO, you're going to get a look into everything that they have. What I would recommend maybe for you is you could start out with this Student Research Center. That would be a good place to start possibly, and then maybe work up to the full EBSCO host. Outside of that, I think that's about the kind of key things that EBSCO has to offer. The Student Research Center, I'll just give you a quick tour around that. You can go ahead and look at this. You can select what type of things you want to find in your search. You can also limit your results with this advanced search box. That's pretty basic and pretty good tool to use. Let's go back one. Here you can go ahead and look at all databases, okay, and EBSCO host. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is going to offer you to look into a bunch of different types of databases here. Academic Search Premier is always a good one, and that's a great one in college that you'll use often for just general research, anything. But if you want to get more specific, you can see things like agricultural stuff, Alternative Health Watch, Business Source Premier, Computer Source, ERIC, which is the Education Resource Information Center. So as a teacher, that would be something where I did work in college. You can see the Encyclopedia, Health News, Health Source, a Legal Connection for law. Medline for medical stuff, military and government, Newspaper Source, psychology stuff. I mean, there's a whole list of things. Topic Search is a good general one. These are specific towards the topic, and depending upon what you know about it and what area you think you're going to find the most beneficial information, you can definitely choose to select one or the other of those. So that kind of covers your basic look into the EBSCO host service. Going over here, and I don't think I see SIRS anymore. There used to be a resource called SIRS, but we'll use that Gell Cengage now. You can also click on different types of things. Like this is a specific collection for Utah. I know some of you may be doing air pollution in Utah. Well, you can go ahead and click at the Desert Morning News, the State Archives, the Tribune. Okay. Those type of things might be very helpful in finding what you're looking for. Okay, well, that's the most essential list that you can look at. I would like to add maybe one site that I would look at, and that is a site called procon.org. It's great for anything that's very controversial, similar to what we found in the Gale Cengage uh, library earlier. But you can go ahead here and look and select all these things. These are great sites that are going to have some authoritative, informed thoughts on things. They try their best to present things in a manner that's effective and powerful. So let's go ahead and just click college education. The question that they're asking in this is college education worth it? This gives you kind of an overview of it. Sorry, I'm going to close that down. This gives us an overview of that site, and then we can go ahead and look down here and get some basic statistics about it. Great stuff that might, help hook somebody in. Further down, there's a pro side for it as far as why you should do it, and a con side for each of it, hence the procon.org website name. Very cool, very large amounts of information, okay, and definitely something worth checking out. So I hope that you'll use the procon.org site as well as accessing that Pioneer Library. Once again, to access the Pioneer Library resources, it's important that you get the password from your teacher or librarian, and we can do that for you. Appreciate it, and hopefully you've learned something interesting and beneficial to your research. You will be going ahead and looking forward. Your assignment connected to this is your ERP, your expository research project. You are supposed to make a list of items. I believe that is D9. These are different items that you can use to search, and I've given you a list of websites here that you could list off. So go ahead and look at those things and think about those things and think about where you're going. That assignment will be due tonight on Canvas. Thank you.